Hi everybody, this is Tony Crane, the Aspie Dad. Please leave me a comment below and let me know what you think of this video series. And if you're a dad of a kid with autism, please let me know how we can help you more. We're here today to talk about some of the identifying features of autism and how those signs really should lead you to get your child checked out by a trained professional. The rule of thumb is that if you're concerned, don't wait, get them checked. There are two signs that happen pretty early in development, and they're pretty easy to spot even in young children. They are oversensitivity and stimming. Every child will tell you that they're itchy or that a tag is bothering them. However, if you have to cut the tag out of every single shirt your kid wears, or even the softest fabrics make them itchy, and you find that you have to turn their socks inside out because the little string at the bottom is messing with their toes, or their seatbelt is always too tight or too twisted, there may be some oversensitivity going on. Now, what in the world is stimming, you may ask? Well, it's defined as self-stimulating behavior through repetitive movements, repetitive sound making, or repetitive movement of objects. Many children on the spectrum will flap. They move their arms in a flapping motion when they get excited. It appears that this is an attempt to deal with overwhelming levels of information that are constantly funneling into the autistic brain. If you don't know already, people on the spectrum have a very difficult time filtering out stimulus. They hear, see, and feel everything at the same time, and it can be absolutely overwhelming. While these two things are pretty easily observed, the others tend to be easier to see in children as they get a little older. I call the next two zoning and social anxiety. Zoning is the tendency of a child to either zone in on something to such an extent that they forget about everything else, or it's the ability to zone out and just be in space. Autistic individuals seem to be able to do this at will to avoid stimuli. Social anxiety is the real fear that they have of doing the wrong thing in a social situation. And I could probably go on and make a whole video about this subject because the questions that surround it and the anxiety that come with it, but it's really a matter for a different day. The last sign we have is directly related to social anxiety, and it's the failure to understand the game. The easiest way to explain this is to give you an example. If you came to Earth from a different planet and saw a team playing baseball, you would pretty quickly figure out that you try to hit the ball, and after you hit the ball, you would run to first base. This type of observation and understanding is common for most of us. For someone on the autism spectrum, it's non-existent. They just don't pick up on those rules intuitively. This includes social rules, work structures, and even the simplest rules to the simplest games with friends. The more complicated the activity, the more problematic this becomes. If you see these signs or symptoms, please get your child to a specialist to be checked right away. Early intervention is currently known to be one of the most effective aspects of treatment. Thank you for joining me on the mission to help Aspie Dads everywhere, and we'll see you next time on the Aspie Dad.